My sister undermined my wedding dress, declared a fictitious pregnancy at my son's birthday celebration. Nevertheless, what I subsequently discovered devastated our family. I am 35 years of age, the youngest of 3 siblings, is the narrative of my son's inaugural decades of familial birthday celebrations. Conflict has ultimately arisen. Allow me to elucidate the intricate history that led us to this juncture prior to exploring the recent occurrences involving my eldest sister, Lisa, aged 40, and I maintained a strained relationship during our time together. We're maturing in suburban Pennsylvania. However, she maintained a good rapport with our middle child. Sister Rachel, 38, has exhibited more favorable behavior than Lisa, similar to my initial aggressor rather than a sister since. I recall that she inadvertently pushed me into my cake in front of everyone, my companions at my 5th birthday celebration. The celebration is detracting from my important occasion day as well as my preferred clothing. I still vividly remember that moment. Rachel subsequently extricated me and assisted in my cleansing, establishing a pattern that would throughout the remainder of our lives despite our parents saw it as customary. Sibling rivalry as we matured. Bullying has intensified. Lisa would deliberately demean me in the presence of my contemporaries throughout my intermediate schooling period by addressing me with pejorative terms and disseminating falsehoods about me when I was 13 when I experienced my first crush, which was quite distressing. Events transpired for months, resulting in Lisa's destruction. My social life by informing the boy I am attracted to that I continued to urinate in bed, which was entirely erroneous. Rachel endeavored to intervene, although our parents demanded that we have to reconcile our differences regarding my sisters do dispute among themselves. Adolescence introduced new challenges, developed an interest in alternative music. She commenced utilizing darker cosmetics and apparel to signify my identity as Lisa, ridiculed me by referring to me as Cruella would bark whenever I encounter her at school, while Rachel facilitated my experimentation with diverse appearances. There were also terrifying periods such as when she would surprise me from behind, adjacent to stairwells, departing from me, perpetually apprehensive over my safety. When Lisa was engrossed in her thoughts, the exemplary daughter participating in cheerleading and dating the QB, I discovered comfort in technology and academia. During my senior year of high school, I had already discovered my enthusiasm for computer science and was employed as a freelance web developer. This modification in our trajectories seemed to intensify Lisa's animosity. I dedicated all of my energy to creating a career in information technology, consulting post-secondary education. I earned awards from Penn State, swiftly secured employment at a distinguished Lisa's consulting firm in Philadelphia, who had chosen a more traditional path to marrying her high school lover Greg, 41 minutes, immediately subsequent to completing education and establishing residence in the suburbs. Life appeared particularly discontented with my presence. Success adversely affected my personal life. During my 20s, my career flourished, was receiving a promotion for producing a prestige in my domain and traversing the nation for projects. Rachel, who was currently a high school educator, persists in exhibit encouragement and would often justify my choices at the family gathering. Lisa would scathingly address the situation in the meantime, reproach me for neglecting my family, job responsibilities, and prioritization. During the supper on my 25th birthday, tension escalated to a critical juncture. Just as I was extinguishing my candles, Lisa declared her anticipation of her first child. The infant rapidly became the focal point of focus, and my commemoration became into the organization of an impromptu baby shower. Only Rachel detected my stealth, departed from the table, and followed me. As we proceeded to the bathroom, Rachel embraced me, stated that she is envious due to your achievement according to your own criteria, while I endeavored to suppress tears during the subsequent few. For years, I maintained contact with Lisa, small and focused on advancing I was overseeing substantial digital initiatives, transformation initiatives at the age of 30. Subsequent to receiving a promotion to senior, I first encountered James 37 ERS as a consultant. We formed a connection during a technology conference in Boston. Regarding our shared admiration for technology and classic rock throughout his time, James is presenting about cybersecurity, genuinely valued my vocation and supported my objectives unlike previous encounters. Who had been deterred by my profession, James suggested over a Cape Cod weekend following a. During the year of our courtship, I experienced profound happiness. Intended to inform my entire family about it, Rachel experienced joy for the first time and volunteered to aid with the wedding. Immediate preparations, despite my mother repeatedly inquired whether I was certain. Wanted to establish stability at this stage of my career delighted my parents. Initially, Lisa's response was agreeable, advantageous in pursuit of the optimal. I dedicated months to organizing my wedding day. I found my perfect dress, refined A-line gown featuring intricate antique embellishments and intricate stitching. Subsequent to accumulating funds from my consultancy endeavors, employment, despite the $800 cost, elevated by wedding dress standards, it represented years of perseverance and self-sufficiency. 3 months preceding the event involving the bridal dress occurred. Modifications had been proposed by my aunt. Mary is proficient. Seamstress Lisa asserted her desire to assess the status of the modifications. Upon her arrival at Aunt Mary's residence, an afternoon with her 2 large dogs, Lisa anticipated that her pets will enter the sewing room, hence she intentionally departed from the door was open as Aunt Mary was preparing. The subsequent devastation was absolute. The exquisite lace was ruined. The bodice was torn asunder, and beads were disorganized following numerous unanswered inquiries. I ultimately arrived at Aunt Mary's after making calls. The house where I found her in tears. Initially, she attempted to assign responsibility to herself while recounting what had occurred, although certain elements were incongruent. Aunt, known for her meticulous attention to detail, Mary would never abandon a bridal gown, as she described how Lisa had orchestrated the entire situation when I softly implored her, even beseeching her refusal to disclose the truth. The altercation was likely heated. Discuss wedding arrangements. I presented our parents and both siblings of my parents. Location where Lisa entered radiantly and excited to serve as a bridesmaid for Rachel. Immediately recognized that something was. Lisa's veneer collapsed, revealing her vulnerability. Informed her of my knowledge when she was required to don an off-the-rack garment for herself. At the wedding, she launched into a tirade about how I have consistently experienced ease, yet I have not merits such an expensive garment rather than expressing remorse. Ultimately, the veracity was. Lisa admitted that she deliberately permitted her dogs to enter the room, aware that they would cause destruction. The garment notwithstanding her husband's successful career, she asserted financial challenges due of her limited ability to reimburse $500 when our parents were aware of the initial revelation of Lisa's profound envy. They were rendered speechless. Promptly rescinded her invitation to the wedding that my father regretted. Disregarding Lisa's behavior for years was beneficial. Purchase an alternative ensemble for the wedding amidst familial discord. Rachel served as my maid of honor, and the day was. I disregarded Lisa's conventional card. Congratulations, I maintained my distance from Lisa throughout the subsequent years when I commenced embarking on a new chapter with James as I advanced in my profession and ultimately transformed into a partner at my consulting firm. Acquired a suburban residence resolution to initiate a family at the age of 34. And I became pregnant with our kid. My mother influenced me in some manner, perhaps it was it the hormones or the newfound viewpoint associated with initiating a family. Nonetheless, I found myself contemplating reconciling with Lisa when my mother. It has been claimed that you are both now mothers. She would assert that families should remain united. Lisa reached out to me once more. Following the birth of my son, Lisa appeared genuinely remorseful, overcome with emotions at our initial, significant conversation in years, disclosing that she had been progressing through her issues throughout treatment. She addressed her own apprehensions over my accomplishment had revived enduring emotions of insufficiency and the impact of parenthood, assisted her in identifying the nature of her committed deeds, enhancing my role as an aunt and sister. Future Lisa seems to honor her commitment. In the subsequent months, she would propose to provide childcare and delightful presents for the infant, and even endorse my decision to return to part-time employment in opposition to certain factors. Judgmental relatives notwithstanding her, Rachel concurred with my decision despite her reservations, to afford Lisa another opportunity despite his never entirely overlooked the wedding. James also began to prepare for the dress occasion. Accustomed to the new familial dynamics, all aspects appear to be improving. Lisa seems to possess a distinct connection with my son, genuinely recognized my achievements and participated in familial gatherings. I commenced contemplation without inciting disturbance. Believe individuals are capable of change, and that my sister's issues with jealousy had been addressed through maturity and therapy, culminates in my son's inaugural birthday celebration that occurred last week. With intimate relatives and acquaintances we possessed, arranged a modest, yet significant gathering. When Lisa arrived early to provide assistance with the decorations, I remember being grateful for our growth in many aspects. The party was proceeding excellently. My son enjoyed being the center of attention at the gathering. All individuals were enjoying themselves immensely, and the decorations were exquisite. The cake was remarkable. The moment suddenly arrived abruptly for Lisa. Contacted the DJ we had engaged for background music accompanying James and me. We're preparing to aid our son. My stomach, with his inaugural birthday cake, collapsed while attempting to grasp the microphone. Reflecting on my 25th birthday, naturally she would not attend her nephew's first birthday notification. No further changes for 1 week has elapsed since the calamitous birthday. I must inform you about the celebration. Lisa perceives the microphone as we intended to conduct the cake ceremony as I stated in my original post that she ruined my son's significant event by proclaiming to everyone anticipated her arrival. The subsequent events, however, were considerably more significant. More astonishingly, she approached me, handed me an envelope directly, and expressed her desire for me to organize her forthcoming baby shower due to my possession of obtained her assistance during my initial year of maternity. A thorough to-do list inclusive of recommendations for venues and thematic concepts. A guest list including dietary preferences. Requirements were enclosed in the envelope. While perusing it for decades, repressed wrath sprang from my hands. In a state of agitation, I tore the list into fragments, in the presence of all, without providing any. As the room fell silent, Lisa's the arrogant expression transformed into one of she was filled with wonder, and then began to weep. Began expressing dissatisfaction with my hormonal state, was performing, and how I was undermining her. Discreet announcement, in a subdued tone. Parent who has finally started to perceive by her duplicity, compelled her husband, Greg, is to escort her outside as anticipated. The mother endeavored to protect Lisa by contending that she possessed every right to articulate her joy at the festivity, since she was my son's aunt. God bless. Rachel assumed control of the matter. asserting that this was neither the location nor the occasion for such. She resolutely accompanied Lisa following the declarations. Greg's departure resulted in a chaotic aftermath. James was upset not only with Lisa, but he could comprehend me as well. My resentment stemmed from his belief that rather than creating a show at our son's, I should have addressed it during the party. He subsequently issued a statement privately. An evening that genuinely resonated. We cannot regulate Lisa's behavior, yet we are capable of doing so. Regulate our responses to them regardless of our endeavors to preserve the celebration. The majority of our attendees departed promptly. Subsequent to the incident, my son was insufficiently developed to understand what was engaged in play with satisfaction. His new toys, yet as I observed them, partially eaten cake and disposed of, I was unable to resist the celebration decorations. Believe that Lisa has once more succeeded to undermine a significant moment in the fallout has impacted life throughout the week. Lisa has persisted on social media, distributing passive-aggressive content regarding toxic relatives and the manner in which certain individuals seldom regard the concerns of others. She also engages our extended network with joy. Relatives on numerous occasions, aunts, and my cousins have contacted me to express their apologies. Outburst following the perusal of Lisa's writings on Rachel unfriended her on social media, exhibiting her steadfast support for my mother continually asserts that I ought to exhibit maturity by apologizing first. Lisa's pregnant hormones also affect her. Significant stress ensued. Nevertheless, my father contacted me. Yesterday, he expressed his comprehension of my perspective. Conducted myself as I have since our initial encounter. James and I have hardly quarreled. Addressed the situation. He is not inaccurate following years of Lisa regulating every significant occurrence in I believe I could have managed it. Improved, although an internal conflict persists. Had completely lost control this time. I am contemplating irrevocably terminating my relationship. I am fatigued by my continual generosity towards Lisa. Possibilities to inflict harm upon me, and it is evident that therapy has not facilitated her improvement. Despite her assurances, my priority remains paramount. My foremost concern is protecting my son from her. Is it hazardous behavior as he matures? It is inappropriate for me to desire to evade interaction. Was it advantageous for me to confront her? Following the celebration, I perceived that my reaction was justified. However, I continue to feel unwell. Regarding the disruption of my son's celebration. Report 2. Everything has changed substantially. Altered in the fortnight after my previous remark that what commenced as familial discord has evolved into something significantly greater. Notable years of exposure to deceit and manipulation by Lisa. Rachel presented me with some fascinating data subsequent to the occurrence at the most unfavorable aspect of the birthday party was not that Lisa had ostensibly been deceiving. Our extended family has been discussing me for years. As the financial controller of our father, Lisa has been misappropriating funds from the family enterprise that Rachel had discovered. I possess certification in information technology, consultant specializing on finance systems in which I applied my expertise to discreetly commence examining I uncovered the company's records. Lisa had experienced something astonishing for years. Has been manipulating the financial records by making minor alterations. Accumulated sums of money exceeding $200,000 highlighted how, even subsequent to citing fiscal challenges and solely partially reimbursing me for my wedding gown, she was able to sustain her. Last week, I acquired an opulent lifestyle. The evidence for my father's office. Despite his devastation, he did appropriately. He arranged an urgent family meeting, assembly that encompassed our extended familial members possessing shares in Lisa from the corporation arrived appearing self-satisfied, typically probable, expecting another opportunity to adopt a victim mentality on the occurrences at the birthday celebration rather than my Father presented the financial documents. I initiated the debate by. He scrupulously examined each fraudulent item. Lisa's face drained of color. Presented my expert analysis, exhibiting overt patterns of deliberate manipulation when she endeavored to ascribe it to accounting deficiencies I had not yet completed from the incident involving a bridal garment that included a authenticated confession from our aunt as evidence that she had disseminated false allegations. Information regarding me for clients and relatives, Rachel. I had compiled a comprehensive dossier, chronicling Lisa's years of deceit. We possessed security camera footage of her practicing her pregnancy announcement at. My son's birthday celebration is at Greg and Lisa's. The husband caused the most detrimental. He admitted that Lisa has been deceiving regarding her pregnancies to conform, in conjunction with others' significance, instances after to being transported to his BR. Eking point by the evidence of financial deception when she declared it at my son's. Woman feigned pregnancy to obtain greater sympathy she had planned to exhibit. Subsequent to a miscarriage, our father created two notable declarations akin to the assembly. Concluded, Lisa would confront allegations of financial fraud from the rather than second corporation, designating Lisa as the presumed successor of the as CEO of the family enterprise. He had opted to designate me based on my technical proficiency and exhibited integrity as his. Lisa's meticulously orchestrated world collapsed, separated upon recognizing her actual nature. Our extended family terminated their relationship with her the subsequent day. Greg submitted a request for separation as a safeguard, escorted Lisa out of the office without hesitation. Our mother has been her steadfast supporter. Lisa has rapidly spoken about the fallout, has been placed on administrative leave pending a comprehensive investigation is undertaken to recover the embezzled funds of our family's legal representative, is preparing both criminal and civil documents. Litigations initiated by the shareholders who comprehended that my technical expertise may contribute to unanimously updating the enterprise. Endorsed my designation as the forthcoming CEO. Lisa had consistently aspired to the position of leader of our family's philanthropic foundation, and Rachel has received it. We are together, endeavoring to rectify the damage she inflicted upon the family's enterprise and connections. I encounter a peculiar amalgamation of law and vindication. I am pleased with the truth. Has finally been released, despite my lack of desire for it. James is satisfied with the outcome. Through my professional management of the circumstance, and my father has articulated remorse after years of endorsing Lisa's. Justice can sometimes manifest in acts. I exceeded expectations in unforeseen manners. I assert myself as well. Disclosed the veracity and protected our family's heritage following Lisa's. The manipulation has been completed. The family may begin to progress following Report 3. 1 month has elapsed since my previous report. I must confess that Lisa's. The condition has deteriorated much further. The court lawsuit has formally commenced. Established the forensic accounting team at our organization discovered that Lisa's embezzlement was significantly more widespread than we first anticipated for about 10. For years, she had been establishing fake, using vendor accounts to transfer of business funds exceeding $500,000 is currently believed to have been pilfered, which is over double the amount of what we initially identified, supposing that a segment of the funds were derived via altruistic sources. The treasuries of our family foundation. The district attorney's office has demonstrated Lisa's intense interest in the matter, well-cultivated reputation as the philanthropic socialite has been completely devastated by the revelation that she possessed, engaged in the embezzlement of funds from initiatives intended to assist underprivileged youth. Further compelling evidence has emerged. Illumination during Greg's divorce proceedings. He discovered that Lisa had covertly retained multiple private bank accounts in which She retained the embezzled monies subsequent to our father retired and transferred the business she had been poised to exit. He absconded with the funds. The irony is palpable. Is it before our father made his? She developed public succession plans. Opulent pregnancy announcement at my celebration of son's birthday. Secure her position as the favored child. Our social circle has been significantly. It appears that Lisa was affected. Use the facts at her disposal. Amassed throughout the years for extortion. Several familial acquaintances disclosed their narratives at the revelation of the truth concerning her transgressions was disclosed sequentially. To maintain her social status and acquire intimate understanding of our family, she had developed an entire business manipulative network through leveraging individuals' confidences. During a family gathering last week, Lisa clearly did not attend to my mother, who had consistently defended Lisa. She ultimately expressed herself. She wept and said that she permitted Lisa's behavior because of her. Appeared to be fearful that Lisa had threatening to disclose certain information regarding mother prior infractions if she failed to comply. My mother has consistently sought support, therapeutic interventions stemming from this revelation and to manage years of emotional distress, exploitation, and coercion regarding. I have commenced collaboration in business. Collaborate with our father to revise the organizational financial processes. We are implementing digital tracking, technological advancements, and novel security protocols that would have prevented Lisa's embezzlement schemes subsequent to discovering a figure. Any other oddities exhibited by Lisa? Rachel has taken the lead in restructuring the family foundation. Extensive familial network was the most. Lisa had always experienced meaningful growth, claimed membership in several notable social groups, and she has been dismissed from philanthropic boards. From every employment following the revelation of her offense. Disseminate her fastidiously crafted an extensive social media presence and social gatherings. Charity Gas has completely disappeared from her previous state. My best friend made an unanticipated visit to us. This weekend, we received a USB drive that comprised years of text messages and emails since our adolescence. Lisa had been systematically undermining her reputation inside our social circle. Fabricated narratives regarding my theft from relatives, disseminated speculation regarding my struggles with substance abuse, endeavored to subvert several of my consulting engagements predicated on deception, potential clients added by our attorney, defamation allegations added to the increasing accumulation, any legal grievances filed against her since. The evidence was so compelling that there are currently claims for both financial and reputational harm in the civil grievance regarding a family event we hosted. Yesterday, we discussed the trajectory of all staff members of our family business. Responded positively when the father formally indicated that I would assume the role of future CEO over the years. Employees recounted their personal experiences of Lisa's coercion and intimidation within. Emphasis on transparency and ethical commerce. Conducting an thorough corporate restructuring. Lisa has been compelled to relocate, cohabit with a far cousin in a distinct condition, and is encountering significant criminal charges following Greg's attorney provided evidence that she had contrived several previous pregnancies for her attempts at manipulating Ames. Assumed the role of the victim has entirely deteriorated. Level as per a communication dispatched to Rachel was visited yesterday by her cousin. Remaining with Lisa is still endeavoring to devising a strategy to extricate herself from the dilemma due of her inability to accept that her web. The saga of lies has now concluded. Observing our family united without Lisa's deleterious impact has been the most comforting element in the entire struggle to collaborate in repairing our kinship connections and our vocational. Rachel and I have intensified our efforts. My mother is making progress in therapy. Upon her eventual comprehension of the magnitude of the damage inflicted by her enabling behavior, James has been immensely helpful during. This technique aids me in achieving a equilibrium between my familial obligations and my responsibilities of the new company in lieu of. Our son exhibits manipulation and drama, thriving because of his environment, authentic affection and assistance utilizing certain. The funds confiscated from Lisa's larceny have opted to establish a college fund for his conversion of her egotism into something beneficial for the future. In retrospect, I observe that the true tipping point was not Lisa's address during my son's birthday celebration. It was merely the final thread of the celebration that precipitated the collapse of her entire fabricated existence. Justice can occasionally be administered in unforeseen manners, and the veracity, regardless of the duration of its suppression, will ultimately reveal the narrative of our family pertains to evading detrimental influences, inclinations, and the act of creation, larger from the ashes of deceit, not solely concerning justice or punishment. Experience complete liberation from Lisa's influence. The inaugural instance of my being and her passing has transformed into our family's renewal boost. My most recent revision occurred 4 months ago. The final chapter of this familial drama is now completion, and justice have been achieved in unforeseen methods. Last Monday, Lisa was sentenced to 8 years in imprisonment for financial malfeasance and fraud, embezzlement upon discovering that she had misappropriated from charitable foundations for children established by the judge, presented very compelling evidence of her similar methods from previous employment emerged during the trial, disclosing a unique her strategic activity pattern, has been ordered to pay fines additionally. For complete restitution, Greg ensured that all were cognizant of Lisa's proclivity for manufacturing pregnancies for the purpose of control her, and his divorce is official, devoid of toxic impact. His adolescent children of their mother now consistently allocate time to be with us and establish nurturing relationships with their aunts. Our mother has experienced the utmost significant transformation she has undergone. Subsequent, after months of therapy, she expressed my apologies for permitting Lisa's conduct for an extended period during a recent family gathering. She presently works in close collaboration with Rachel at our family foundation, in which she concentrates on programs to support victims of emotional maltreatment under the new administration. Our business structure has thrived. Contemporary financial security methods have been established by my father and me. Last month, we successfully secured a substantial federal deal that Lisa had previously obliterated the work. The environment has markedly improved, and those who were previously suppressed are currently thriving in their roles. The weekend was the initial occasion for the extended. The family convened in Lisa's absence. There was a discernible difference in sincerity. Conversations instilled a sense of tranquility that has been deficient for decades, and no fundamental tensions in Lisa's narratives. Prior adjustments were communicated by the quantity of family members that ensued through reciprocal comprehension and restoration. Discovering Lisa's antiquated diary in her former possession, the office was particularly affirming. Discovery encompassed thoroughness. Preparations to tarnish my reputation and manage the family enterprise. I was able to recognize that her hostility was not aimed at me but rather at herself. Deep-seated anxieties following my reading of it with my therapist Rachel within our organization. I have initiated a mentorship program to support young women and families, organizations in detecting and preventing. We are dedicated to workplace deceit, transmuting our adverse experience into something beneficial for others. During her sentencing, Lisa's final endeavor at manipulation of a letter claiming she was the victim of a familial conspiracy was unsuccessful. The judge's response was dismal. The evidence is unequivocally flawless, exhibits a pattern of intentional shame, and even now your endeavor to perform The victim illustrates the necessity for societal reform, protected from further injury by this statement. James and I are dedicated to providing a more salubrious domestic atmosphere for our infant. Through the establishment of a community education, trust regarding the funds retrieved from Lisa's thievery stems from her avarice, converted into an entity that will. I recognize the advantage of aiding others. The event that resulted in these insights on my son's inaugural birthday. The gathering was, at times, a fortuitous occurrence. An extraordinary event is required to disclose secrets. I am pleased that we addressed maltreatment and instigated beneficial transformation despite my lack of experience. Designed for our family to become a cautionary narrative regarding the constraints of fear and manipulations, sever the legacy of our family will embody resilience and strength. Integrity instead of deceit and dominance. Retribution is not the sole, the objective of leading a fulfilling life. Regarding the cessation of detrimental patterns and developing an improved future, I wish to convey my appreciation to the Reddit community for their assistance throughout this endeavor. Mine dear, your communications and comments sustained my motivation despite the challenges ahead. Justice may occasionally require unexpected diversions. Beneficial transformation is attainable via integrity and thank you for watching. Your willpower is appreciated. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. Activate the notification bell to be informed. Revised with additional startling real-life instances. Narratives occurring in your vicinity.